Hey, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm gonna talk about top 5
best gaming monitor under $300.
Starting at number 5.
Gigabyte M27QP. If you want a simple 27-inch gaming monitor and are on a budget, the Gigabyte M27QP is a good alternative that has similar specs to the LG 27GP850B/27GP83BB, but it's a step down in performance because it has a worse overall motion handling. While this means there's more blur with fast-moving objects than on the LG, the motion handling is still good enough for a great gaming experience. The Gigabyte M27Q Rev 1.0 is another option with a faster response time and similar features, but it has worse text clarity than the M27QP. Besides that, the M27QP is still an impressive gaming monitor with FreeSync VRR and GSWNC compatibility to reduce screen tearing. Like the LG, it also has a backlight strobing feature to improve the appearance of motion, but it causes image duplication. On the plus side, it has some extra features you won't normally find on a budget monitor, like a KVM switch, which is useful if you have multiple sources connected to the monitor. If you don't need so many extra features, the Dell G2724D is another great low-cost gaming monitor, but it's harder to find at most retailers.
Coming at number 4.
LG 27GP850B/27GP83BB. If you don't need a 4K monitor like the Gigabyte M27U, you can choose from plenty of lower mid-range options. If that's what you're interested in, the LG 27GP850B is an excellent gaming monitor with a lower 1440p resolution, so images aren't as detailed, which is the main trade-off for getting something cheaper. It's also sold as the 27GP83BB at various retailers, and both models are excellent for gaming. It has fantastic motion handling with any refresh rate, and it also has a backlight strobing feature to reduce persistence blur, so you know motion looks smooth with most games. It has FreeSync VRR support and is also GSWNC compatible, which is great if you have an NVIDIA graphics card. It has a native 165Hz refresh rate, and the 27GP850B model has an optional overclock feature to boost it up to 180Hz. However, if you want an even higher refresh rate, consider other 1440p options with a 240Hz native refresh rate, like the Dell Alienware AW2723DF or the Gigabyte M27QX. However, those cost more, so they're only worth getting if you'll take advantage of the high refresh rates.
At number 3.
Gigabyte M27U 27-inch. If you find the Sony INZONE M9 still too expensive, a mid-range option like the Gigabyte M27U is a good alternative. It's very similar because it has a 4K resolution for the same detailed images and a slightly higher 160Hz refresh rate, delivering excellent gaming performance. However, the main trade-off is that it has worse picture quality with an inferior local dimming feature. It also supports only 24 gigabits per second of HDMI 2.1 bandwidth compared to 40 gigabits per second on the Sony, which means your graphics card needs to use compression for high bandwidth signals, which could negatively impact the picture quality. However, you'll still be happy with this monitor unless you need the best picture quality possible. Besides that, it has everything you'd expect to find in a gaming monitor, like FreeSync VRR and GSWNC compatibility. It also has a fast response time and even has a backlight strobing feature that aims to improve the appearance of motion. This works at the same time as VRR, which is something many monitors can't do and is a neat addition.
Number 2 of my list.
Sony INZONE M9. If you're concerned about permanent burn-in risk or just want something cheaper, consider the Sony INZONE M9. Without an OLED panel, it doesn't deliver the same deep blacks as the ASUS ROG Swift OLED PG27 AQDM. However, it still has an okay local dimming feature that helps improve the black levels, and it also gets bright enough for highlights to pop. If you do care about picture quality and you want something that gets even brighter with a better local dimming feature, the INZONE 27M2V is also a good choice, but it's harder to find. One advantage of the Sony over the ASUS is that it has a higher 4K resolution, which results in more detailed and sharper images. It also has HDMI 2.1 bandwidth that lets you take full advantage of HDMI 2.1 graphics cards and current-gen gaming consoles. It even has a few features that you can only use with the PS5, like auto HDR tone mapping to optimize the HDR performance in games. In terms of its gaming performance, it has good motion handling and VRR support to reduce screen tearing, but it has a max refresh rate of 144 Hz. Much lower than the 240 Hz on the ASUS.
And number 1.
ASUS ROG Swift OLED. The best 27-inch gaming monitor we've tested is the ASUS ROG Swift OLED PG27 AQDM. It's a 1440p OLED monitor with fantastic gaming performance and excellent picture quality. It has a 240 Hz refresh rate with variable refresh rate, VRR, support to reduce screen tearing, and it provides a near-instantaneous response time for incredible motion handling. Its OLED panel even offers excellent picture quality, especially if you game in dark rooms. This is because it has a near-infinite contrast ratio for deep blacks, and the monitor gets bright enough to make highlights pop. However, this technology has some drawbacks, as OLEDs risk permanent burn-in with constant exposure to the same static elements over time. If you play different games or watch varied content, this isn't a major concern, though, and you still get fantastic gaming performance. Another downside of this monitor is that there are bugs with its HDR performance and input lag on its original firmware, so you need to update it to the latest firmware for the best performance. If that concerns you, you can also consider the LG 27GR95QEB, which uses the same panel and has fewer bugs out of the box, but doesn't get as bright.
Check out this video description for latest price and more informations. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe and stay tuned.